Welcome to today's 5-minute professional learning presented by CAPITALISE Education. The characteristics and functional impact of students on the autism spectrum varies significantly. As the saying goes, once you have met one child on the autism spectrum, you have met one child on the autism spectrum. As such, it's really important to have a deep understanding of the characteristics of your student and the functional impact. In today's professional learning, we're going to look at a hypothetical student on the autism spectrum who has challenges associated with executive functioning. According to Beth Saggers at the Queensland University of Technology, every person on the autism spectrum is unique and their needs will be reflected differently. For this reason, it's really important for teachers to be able to discern the characteristics of their students on the spectrum and the functional impact of those characteristics. Our hypothetical student has difficulties with executive functioning. The functional impact is he has difficulties connecting ideas in all Australian curriculum learning areas. He is often unable to follow what is happening in the classroom. So, what can we do to support this student? For a hypothetical student with difficulties with executive functioning who finds it challenging to connect ideas in all Australian curriculum learning areas, which means he is often unable to follow what is happening in the classroom, we can look at 3 UDL checkpoints. We can look at checkpoint 3.2, highlighting patterns, critical features, big ideas, and relationships. We can also look at checkpoints 6.2 and 6.3. We can look at how we can support the student to plan and develop strategies. We can also support our student to facilitate managing information and resources. I love this quote. No tool is omnicompetent. There is no such thing as a master key that will unlock all doors. Rather than wielding a single tool, generalists have managed to collect and protect an entire tool shed, and they show the power of range in a hyper-specialized world. For this reason, classroom teachers need a range of tools in their tool shed. This is what I like about the Universal Design for Learning framework. It provides you a range of tools to apply during the planning, teaching, and assessment cycle to break down barriers to learning for all students. Because the UDL framework is not a specific set of pedagogical strategies, but a way of thinking about breaking down barriers to the planning, teaching, and assessment cycle, we now need to think about how we can practically implement the 3 UDL checkpoints within our classroom. In a classroom where teachers use the principles of universal design, they would allow varied paths for acquiring knowledge, processes, and outputs, or products of knowledge. This would look like the use of mind maps and scaffolds. So the teacher would scaffold their teaching using mind maps, but they would also allow students to use mind maps and other forms of scaffolds to represent their knowledge and understanding. There are many different types of mind maps and scaffolds. The mind map and scaffold the teacher uses to model knowledge and understanding, and the ones that the students use to demonstrate their knowledge and understanding would really depend on many different factors. The context of the key learning area, Because there are many different types of mind maps and scaffolds, the classroom teacher needs to be aware of explicitly teaching a selection process about choosing the right type of scaffold or mind map to use in a certain situation. The teacher should also be conscious of modelling and scaffolding for the students, how to effectively choose an appropriate scaffold and use it in an appropriate context. Whilst initially the classroom teacher needs to be conscious of explicitly modelling and scaffolding the use of mind maps at all stages of the process of planning, teaching and assessing, the classroom teacher needs to be explicit about the selection of the mind map to represent information to the students. The classroom teacher needs to also be explicit about the selection of the relevant mind map to allow students to represent their knowledge and understanding within a key learning area. Over time, it is important that the classroom teacher thinks about how they're explicitly going to support students to develop internal strategies to choose the appropriate mind map to represent their knowledge and understanding in different key learning areas. As Johnson Cooper states, while people's individual needs will differ, the starting presumption should be one of independence rather than dependence, with educators providing the support needed to maximize this. Thank you for listening to today's 5-minute professional learning presented by CAPITALISE Education. At CAPITALISE Education, we believe that teachers achieve a lot more in collaboration than they do in isolation. As the African proverb goes, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.